class kotrule malmeng asule me pastor gen chano anglungu ma abada sel blom sharing al tutau kida sodran mutial teal le kotrule gad mosus ray bedul maraklay marugul belaw bilung biraklay mar sil belaw president Hokons Paules senate marugul senators speaker Anastasio marugul delegates Chief Justice ngiray galaw marugol justices, governors, speakers, lators, marbek other belaw ngara blurang ayangan mo hotcharigi kida mangara kira blur belal al sil siduk nori atte li loreng sergi kida gotrule kada malmal aswar persel klol sebakreng madak ngara blu mal المواعيد الواسقية أجيرة المريض سولة لروباق الديوس يعني ملمول ملوم اللي يرجيد ومن قلت نطرب الواد فايس بريزيدنت عمره الواسي جدا المينستير سنغارتيان أما أربك لا دات ماجي ملاك كرتيجرو قول أدر بلاو ما يجيل سبق رينغرتير ما رينغ الغرير الألسيل سوادن مو moragel kuro babel seber lol ngase urtir regel ngari mengaria program bol announcer ya minister HRTCD relang di ruera da borse maigel ukpolo ai sergi da minister health and social otruleng we cannot say it enough the gira da mereng asulir frontliners ko ter mereng lo يمرين مسؤولة لا NEC ما أربك الأجنسيز government لما تماجي والدروق أدري المرا hospital لون مسيرتير ل كون مرا الواسي تيال برا درا كوفيد لما مرا بالوضع أمرا لورتوري يقال روغول مغلوريو ناقو مرا الواسي نقول أوتيلا بالتيجرين وترول نقول أوتيلا بالتيجرين راديو سلمرجيد مار أدر بيلال تيرا روغول مغل مرو لانغر عليه temloma vaccine ngel toktang na American ngartiang wase ali within the last lerul something namo email tela al adam ma urus saya tia baltiga dengan rabek adam rul senarali sel dora lagi da blur bela da ba potrul ndek da wase ngla ngira mo long mask ndiga da mangalera adal bek adal long mask bebi rablu afana كده عمال دي ملتوي رسال بالتيجر دينغر جيدل بتيجر مودرا كلول هذا نغرابلاي تيجر مودرا نغلجت يخدو لو ماسكر جيد اللي قلت لك لا تيجي قبل من تلول جيت الواسه تغاين سير قلت ما اقران من اسول هذا بيلا مرور سيل غرالي غدير غلو مسر واسه السان اما ابيكلون دي بل كدنا مو براكتيس سوشيال ديستانسينج مرور غرا اوتسايد هي كده ابارت رغر على الروغوي مقبرين اسول هذا بيلا دي غدير غلو مسر reporter ablulada kada dok number 1 kambes kada number 1 orang most cases per 100,000 per day oise mengira da mongu segi da ore me mesa se sengara mal imiri alsum kada mesa kada sengral girel sob ganu adara ablur bela leng sel momes sel il dois mai diser adar mlangwa covid el mera al sils edol tirak rangel wild del covid gel qotel tilab del covid mong ngiral erul basen trablur belam la mosmer الماث ارتيا with 2000 almost 2000 positive cases kadam sadar oqwala el alsil sense da ngartel wasen dirga ka imo ngira da mrang asulla dio sigirel se dire lengar ur kadam maral wasen part trigidel magar ur mru langar aler kadam la vaccinate tem la boost e or tirak legal guidelines rigid a hospital el alsils going highest the number of cases atara ulang highest the number of cases kida per capita eka the most tested nation rablula jedrak mulwaisi lega damral other hospital kida amring lo no other place in the world idea sem ngora ba center other el test why do is ngar belaw aktimas kami example kitsel the test ra 1000 al adra talsils ngelon mal percent population agit adungul murablu ramriger urwasi alsela talsil seta test 18 million people and we know they're going to test 18 million people in one day so just as a comparison Magada gadam dengeng. Wasa bibira time muka mga lalain mering la seals. Mending la serata sob garandir men soril test. Kado ngi terser koloreng. Ngi terser wasa rather hospital of course the more I get got the probable trial organize and manage a crowd. The more I get probable set mukadamra longi track koloreng until my patients at while we get through this. Di kida waigel blada dung alak trigal el salid magidar other berat makaloryo. The mga sula blue ram legel malmol mga artiang not only giving us the vaccines but other artial order. Ya tara awula kadamru legal testing skid cell siasing lo say maybe ngal wod ngegidar kora bato kasarel al high risk med basa cell extra car lang ngarigid. Ya mga sula ram legel Kamla mogi gayel kar gayel baby rablu odurok kalmer bela long nase orgit. Mun se adel imutong betoka adel let's say the test positive. Yakadam stri gayel prevention mun awul elal silse. Nse dro se tedit terul af ngar hospital angar se because of covid. Understand ko gore. Trigel rest amlor sen ngar yang odor rektir dita to covid. Mang I think gira dal kotrule kadam renga sulera other tira mring lora rabakal sin se mring sulera other belau mong mring sulera tigel partners gidal mal mol mal ser gidal tigel kida albangaring diragal el sadal el continue el ngalera rabakal adrablu lo se continue igel dorul rabakal sils din diragal gira dal malera abekra adrablu lo se tei gida abesel el tratal gira dal mo acceptring covid adi mur ko bangger part trak lang arigit igada malangal tangatleng sel covid ang arablur belar el altama o masindar arada di mo mring rapterir maluban di mo mogol omor gorir tibur ngaria net certir mal abebir tira maybe tamamudo Ding di sesek labsay em la momre. Mang seguida asya singel dome seringi dengel wase tiang ari abula bangalel. Bodolingi tersel wase understanding adrablu eda dolmol mal magal mesa abula bangalel tia. Di se degal stobra aurel girel gat magil maradra ministry of health mabekkel adra government amot mak e ono sera ministry of health kut mukliser el ngar alel. Diregal uka ministry gidra human resources mendiri kalau mesayel ngan sang sira adrablu tir aurior luk ngara private sector ngara angal sang sir madiri ngara government makmum mititir tigal minister sa tumay uk momskida update gire lagi so dia waik kontrol ko aulal masa minister wel balaw nabal bol share lo bangger bon mergel bo minister matur gida kotrula ruya borse edik ayaman mor adrablu gida koram lo tribal meudre el altutao le gida amle mnaria special press conference gida ko mangela blue lat ma gambe sem no sem ngarse abona data tuned in from home se habla de recording through via zoom diga damlo tewal inauguration ngel first digital resident trablur belaw ang telang garuba ka Tim Draper ga tara famous el maral isel el investor wala ulala tol tretara aurora sel dungur tial tora digital technology nga awala lagi del urior mo kada maran bring asulel el hotel app el mo mongwa a digital resident card ringid el tagi del best program ringid waigel mildung na se press conference ngari edel dak tela el art la start el tual blen interested tum senda email tilmo el al silsra ewaklok etrigegi del others 10,000 a invitation sent out ma application process and more trigegi del el other marcel list trigger abang sa lista within 72 hours and you will respond Al sumo de calvispande tuk marabaro moralis te maudibulo. Mung seguida atriatal hindi ko karawal shooting tinggal first come first serve. Magda mnesa ruk announcer seguida ruk PSL el teal el merbela magda adi mo reng si iser rauri le tira kala minister of finance ang artel el moshera rebil gireche. Sulang minister health ka
Sulang presidente malungit tutan mara beklaat. Tutan mara adra media mar adalo mes orang sityang. Igel daily update sa malmol beren dia ka sal mo kumakara igen numbers hindi ang segi dia lahat time ang wadang arsel wal fourth week lang since ra do mes ra search will start makora udung ulit was hopefully by the end of this week or early next week kita na mo start tulo mes sa ID sila guys most stable and then eventually guk maral morio segi da guk kora o singe del al time le do mes sa guk trend ra igal kakarusel belu to kuni belu ra marigel igal kakarusel state awal kora followers segi de los sil trend ngara dori days nya peak emro ko emge ko gil guk maral merio so kada malmol malo mes sa numbers kada madingin lo se mal to kara adal dir kamadak mela direct tara challenge moving forward alwi ma next week maral mo to kara adal recover hindi tadir ka wal gora stigmatized baby tira dir ka madak terti lomda sa set tadir ka buku yuyu ngani baby employers demand lo se ko tumongwa negative test result me OT Msegi da direct kalguk challenge gida al time kada malasamal المروبة بريدة لاجيس اندي اوسيسي التايم ان جيرد الجوك موقعين يسير سيجيد الواسي هذا سيلف لا لين لاقر سيجيد التروي الكلوب سي سينس رابول باسيتيف امال جيغري اتي الليل الدير غانيا فيروس ريني لو ليو ريني كورا ديم لسوغل دولي سيل بلول دي قد منشن ريني لغال ابديتس دين جوك ديريك الترا اسيبو كرينر ادرا بلو الجوك adal na recover that the libre bringer tira mut el wal reintegrate el mara workplace ma society direct sa dalo o maklat kara adal girel say o sisit time el alsil sa kada kuk mga tmok ra testing ma covid clinic ra east community health center na mamari kairay ma west ma north and then akluko kada kuk mara south mga namari nga sulit tirigel al state government sa maigel kakaros el partner sa lulong sergi del mga tmok kartel urior egi tamal mon ma testing ra ospital ma tegi del COVID clinic interior akalaw gym el malak tirigel symptomatic ma ara adal girin me test mong kada di olingit tra koloreng ara adra blu gitial waigel dilunga president taknamal ngal tangat compare del mora baby ra blu la mosoy sa bro osisiul teletail kada dirga salba akal men mutter elang direct sa dal gora isi awas capacity ra COVID ali maldi COVID cases ra hospital ang ra 50 sa edel lomkar up to 50 el al time ra igal kakarusel facility ra al sel hospital igi da madingil sa igal la mombre la rule sunday average el adal men yuing el either ang COVID au ul malubet tan yuing el gira langot el rak tandit positive ang ra 9 budula 10 of course, sabi kalsil sa nganyar taying markuk mail 1 or 2 mesois mang we're still well below sel pled the symbol girel wa sa mo overwhelm ra capacity ra hospital. Hindi sa dal makataklisay wa sa tungura tokora bed capacity ikadamal ngariyo sel tulum dasurngi. O sisil time at direct kal ngarinyar atara nurse martoktang tira amlo positive emlaw recover. Matirigay kita ilang agi mo spare tir el guk rotate sel COVID ward material make sure hindi akal exposed el mora hindi ak sa el risk ra exposure el mora adalo o makaringi malupit mortil themselves so we're slowly getting there makanda diol ngitra kaloreng ra atara blue sa el kaukledem lo sa sabi edel loy bigitiang hindi we're cautiously optimistic was el alwiga ma next week and sa it'll start to lumes a cases el goteng stabilize emor ko mo start el maral merio so lang
kada ang Dr. Henka Karsaran men dilurgi say we could expect as much as 4% other test positive in hospital. Adunga 4% ratal telal because that's the average per week. Gadam sa ngar awal af. Agirin ngar hospital because of COVID. Sedri ka kadesa. I see. Hindi ka prepare del giran. That's a good thing. Because in the last 2 weeks, and that's what the hospital has been doing, preparing. Prepare the ward, they prepare the tel, the motorin was saying C4 tel, ngarakalaw gym, the separator adam de cultura emergency room. We prepare the testing. Those are all efforts and make sure we can continue to provide legal service and morar adra balu. Kadirigal so roy so say a surgery sa adir kaman mon hospital. Sumada giran marabot kaya we can do it. Adal om elmen sa elmo. The elective surgeries we can if we can delay, we can delay. Mang hospital yes, clorial man arada sometimes at mo or scatter. Your rotation, we need to rotate the people, and that's what we're working on, and make sure that either Western ministries will contribute to help rotate the especially administrative staff. The trial ngara a front panel greet ade take care tire. So we're definitely working on that. Continue to help our hospital gitu. So kadir kalas ka adra blu say abong el kamsal mismo tire say hi and give them some support. Sulang. Minister Putul.
Malwaise malungin tuta president ma members ra media mar other bela rogui. So kaya kampesal mo ko ra muul ko ra o ay sertifikel nganya klol tokol ko ra araw deng ra blu gire la other government mga tele ra bolsi era covid. Makmamur segi ra era borsel ko esel program ra private sector. Mang mal belduk regal rules sergi dalwas skum ka udara government ngwa covid ngane positive test terkau NCBM ngwa sick leave terkau wasisul time also mang kobanggela adal smer men CM mo ngwa sick leave terkau ong ede also ko ba adal ngal kang smell dire kang arbitar kau indire kal CM level sick leave ang ngasong na sick leave terkau CM more annual leave edire kan ngani ati LM ko mong kana exhaust tali berkau ben CM mo ma half rigel bom accumulator al sela tarra mang sedak pul wasar other government tamal selbak dire kan ngani flexibility ra ministers la kora create ra system mang dia kal metro bang idil service ra government mangani ra other for example a division of employment services former labor ang ngani ra other ngara al sel rotate make sure and I get local services will provide ada kal matrop. A state government Mr. Cambes adiregal giblem mitra last week tikal governors tirgen nganya flexibility tir maklisiil diregal allow or adrir to todor ablirir malup tatay ko sigil 5 days as kum nganya I get the self isolation requirement till impose a Ministry of Health. Amno made Mr. President tak mukadam karat tikal adra ko private sector. Maldado labang kila President ma Minister of Finance at ilun sub edel extend the program. El bottom ko ngil mong loss of income due to COVID relief program. Itel program extension ra prep. Man sub elas ko makaadal ngawdo ra private sector. El no because of COVID kamno ra leave malu temle tadilur gat mong close akong balik at mingil mo other gul mo telme reopen enganya one time relief sa ML me avail ngil mo rakluguk ra tuta ra 8:30 kamera civic center sel civic hall sel ngara balngel Miriam ra amo arwa Miriam sige the lobbies mar baby ra adra prep ra PBA amol nga seur kumul nganya as malge kadebel application bom fill out ringi Aktimo all tegil kora requirements ang giremal kasingil ang ania tablo check stable lo otit mo kaulurior. O sisil time ang ania kora sel kapir sa gidal positive test results rakaw. Magigedebal babier employer gat mo kam lo da kam orior tigidal time leng itagida ul. Masil fill out sa gidal form en sawan mo tabdia erul dar takluk. Almol nga share car sa gidal ayim reklabasay up to 3 reklabasay. القوام لو ذاك موريور من سل دمس التل الرجال human resource رجيد إن والله السيد من سل بأقلا كلانغار رجال government برجال state ترجال كوكنغار private sector أجيء president تقولا أداي تايل program السيد المس ألغاني أقولا غير السيد المقام كان سماوت
Sulang ya minister. Aktimo direka duli lo hace kida amil sadrina last week lo hace a school igren mo open na Monday. Agumura lo hace se adir go sangyan. Amari last meeting ra Friday lo matritigal experts mat kaider yid. Ndi ngira del plan lo hace to open a school. Manung ila nungol era total meng se lo hace nimla kada close a school ra hato obey mason sorol. Ay se al suma school ngayon la open, let's reopen. Education ang lagyan agirel top priority gida magada. Maybe kita mo messing on a case by case basis. But the best ate ala tegal principal ma educators and reopen schools and get kids back in school. Leng important tra development tra ang lagyan. Dinung ila ba open na ulang gira kaya mangin and then yeah. Tama.
Malungin to tayo, President, tamar, bekal ministers. Kamlam ka, makatakal da ka kaswes, mal masa sama the meal. Right now, dito two questions. Tinmutal ko ra minister Patula. Sel one time relief program aldi kablem announce ring kami dim local title trill kind requirements that they have to present. Wrong sa?
Kande. Girem الميرا قوتك in person ميرا civic center maka fill out ra application form mo require lola ba tool checks tabarkaw lo otit muka ulu amla oy ngaram lelas tel morior nganya note ra pabilingela employer gat mukam lo da morior direct gegi da itai ka dospe ya lo bangel sel al positive test results ra hospital Hay كده هيجي المخلوط وطلع اللي كده اللي بابيل ولا بالمي الغرة proof المقاوم لو ذاك مودور سجيد التايم.
The follow up per se, yang moraro ko employees who meet this requirement, more other belaw, other motor belaw, alu hindi more other belaw.
Yeah, mal di more other belaw.
Point.
Solar cell get.
May minister tia follow up mo tia question ay lani. Tirigel ko smell nga quarantine ya kat sabi kung ano ko naman siya ko sang in person. Ngani option tirigel ya kat sabi tirigel kiril nga na quarantine. El magara bol sabi ko take advantage of the program.
Sellable mereka el ngay gigi del babi el mens edel fill out ring. Agi dire kan more little online. We're working on that now. We'll work virtually as well. When so you'll fill out the form, then we have to verify it. Mukhamaral in fact, mo da kamorior. Egel babil nga ma active ay sa mga niya other give lambreng sa mutazirak sa gigi del positive forms. Mung agim hal mo will verify trick mukhamaral smear.
Ire minister tumutul dire kas bingar o si siulan na question. Ngani ako indication wa sing tel ahmal telal ada kora raita ko ba number 10 more the loss of income COVID relief program.
agi audio lobangkel Ministry of Finance emle estimate ra up to tal tela el adal as edal accommodated ya. Hindi ko ngit malaka di kul mo laka morior.
So kami de dunga example Maria tal tela may mundar tela de belang private sector. Instead of say 10% of the population are not infected. So that's already 200 150 people that but say it. And they gotta expect everybody to get infected. So I think we're
Yes, at yang ati question naman Minister Erbalau. I know it's probably on one of those situation report and then I mention a present kasi in terms of number of people tested, we have the highest in terms of percentage. Mang kung la sing atela ang a total other belaw test and they will include the malatest because they have to leave the island.
So, unfortunately, lada ka breakdown ra in the past 4 weeks. Hindi cumulatively since the start of test ra April ra 2020. Yung laanga ra lui etela le test ta blada conduct. Hindi within the last 4 weeks, I would say laanga ra 4,000 na blada ru. Yeah. And again include again repeated test. So for example, adal may test positive, elmut may test day 5, malum day 10 included or say the number. Hindi ko tungo na test positivity rate, of course, at tiaryo testing center, trigel symptomatic, ablo nga 40% in the last 2 weeks. Sel community testing, doruring na PCC, ablo nga 12 or 13% at tira positive. And the overall, ang laangara, time laangara 29 or 30% ako running number lang, test positivity rate. Yeah.
Thank you.
Question na nga kamora. Vice President, sel program ra anti-human trafficking, sel tier 2 ranking blur bela blel downgrade ringin mo tier 2 watts. Kami mo as ko siya nga raw ul mo kada low downgrade da tengargid. Nga raw response ra government girel sa igid.
Malungit tuta President, ma adra media, marupot cabinet members. Malam sara malungit question, kita sel rating er kita mle ngara tier 2 mle drapal mura tier 2 watch list. Mandi ngara tier 2 watch list ngani ate alal drep tan mura tier 3. Se report el tilob da wase adangara amlora tier 2 watch list leng dimla ka mal prosecution sel role el girela gagida human trafficking cases direkal dimla ka the really a focus on victim services. Tara direkal mildung alkong ngurawala ka the punish them harshly the dim ititir matam pe fine trial defendant convicted of it dia kala jail time ari malmare nga sule la minister mutul ma minister ay tarole gimlot makalorior so before abodorur tegi the report tugol balme I will email it to you before adrali tegi the report el girel activities for 2021 sel tilob del tier 2 watch list nga raigel activities ra 2020 year 2020 agil when we started working agi mulu mora ambassador US ambassador Hennessy Island lo getting lo seka kom ngilal information agir and we actually met with him in person manglo sa amlo kora ado girela wase ngarang mlobra takal rawreyo magyoram lo madual madangel mo ngaral rala sa etology ungi ngaray kel girel Malaysia. So we are able to compile a report again. Lesson ringir sila January 31, 2022, which was Monday. Etia sel go kwayal response rabulur belaw. almorsel trafficking in persons assessment questions. Lemlaring questions at sendan may lagi daw quiz pan rin gidan mo mategi dia arangalela response rin gidan blay sendan mura US Ambassador Hennessy Island.
So, sel tilay gidal babiere. Pautadi ko naman siya kasi sel report assessment tra Mrigela State Department ta masakra aklit atula prosecutions. Ngara sel tilal masakra gidal tay gidi.
Okay. Melang yang lo nga ogiwa Office Attorney General al kumle report yung ay sulwa sem laringa gagi dali 3 cases al waldir kamle made al in required additional information. Mang mlo subel ko may gagi dal information mang kung dasong amle file one already and then mo file ay gagi dal 2 more cases this year 2022. Also, ito ko report try gigit. Tira kalmla pato ka victim services lo sabi edal ko malisi lo give tagi some memorandum of understanding only like government agencies and mo providers tagi the victim support services. Tira ka malso ka lo ay silwas ng give tagi anti-human trafficking working group al nga minister matuol ma minister ay taro ma members Surangel ministry yung mula mo sabi edal streamline the process among labor trafficking also kung mang mata nga niya klisi either labor officials al mo nga inspect workplace malubang nga niya issue that come before them tira ko omes ng ilo setial amo subi kagi dali labor trafficking and directly o duro clean morsel anti-human trafficking unit nga la Ministry of Justice or sila Division of Transnational Crime. Let me sel was matiyang all tagil batokal improvements sa blada katmok. First of all sel executive order kagi Mr. President amlesa nang reorganize ra Ministry of Justice. Ikot makli sa igidil anti-human trafficking unit within the Division of Transnational Crime. Tegi del ka then after that collaboration again with Ministry of silang nga niya Ministry at matuol mong musubi edal mom sisi aurel girela o singela human trafficking issues both labor trafficking gale sex trafficking.
Di ela sa igidal assessment aktira gamla oiwi sel nga website ra State Department sel mahal sel highlight rin sel wase yang complicity o siya nga ranger gidal girel
Matamal man nga sule lang kagi dali special prosecutor April Cripps lang nga ngegel tool guys sa involve government official. So sendo ko ra ka complicity aldo magim lomit ko Ma'am Ambassador Hennessy Island. Awal ko ra kung luwasegi da either we turn a blind eye al ube ko ra adiya ka tal take a strong step or strong action al girira officials lulsis bra al sila gida human trafficking. May ka public information man sa pegal kumong ma SP amlo sa elo tungir al sila report sel gay Surangel former speaker or president ra Angar State Legislature Mr. Leon Gulibert masel gay ra former governor of Ngarar Mr. Ben Iskawa. May gagidi wal tool cases mo otil was indiak. Government tabela maral take a strong stand against human trafficking, labor trafficking, sex trafficking, and we actually bring them to prosecution. The mal hopeful was a sabiel ko improve standing rigid either at the tier 2 or maybe tier 1. I'll say the best ranking I'll say that morning.
So lang Vice President Ariel mo tuwa na question lang mora Minister of Finance Minister Udo yung if I'm not mistaken sel report financial report first quarter kadamle projected collect $11 million revenue and di kadamle collect 1%. Is that right or
our collections, if depending on which report you looked at, would have shown a lower amount of GRT collections, and it's because our treasury decided to recognize the collections for the previous year. So what we collected in cash this quarter was represented in the previous quarter. So it's not shown in our quarter. And that might be the report that you're looking at. We have reissued a report that shows the actual cash collections in the month so that we can compare resources to expenditures. So it's an accounting question that we are dealing with, something that the auditors normally handle, but we had incorporated into the report for our own purposes. So we've asked the treasurer to go back to reporting the other way so it doesn't cause confusion. Nonetheless, we expect revenues will be a little lower than what we expected this year. And I notice you're focusing on revenues, but we also are focusing on expenditures, and you'll see that our expenditure rate is also being controlled. So we are mindful of the issues, and we're constantly monitoring and making sure that we have enough resources to fund the budget. We're also looking at other opportunities. As the president mentioned, we just had the ceremony for the first digital resident today. Also mentioned that we had 300,000 people registered on the reservation list. The actual conversion rate will depend on whether or not the people go through with their application. 10,000 every 3 days. So it might be over the course of 2 months, we will see exactly how many people apply. But I think the press conference today that we had, the ceremony, will also help market this program. If you were able to see it, and I know you did, you can see that there are many other opportunities that could be attached to this program, and that would also support tourism, for instance, and foreign investment to our country. So we are being very active in pursuing opportunities, and this is a good example of one that we were able to launch this week. So we do have others that we're working on, and we hope that will make up for some of the losses that will happen not only in the tourism sector because of the delay in receiving tourists, the lockdown of other countries being the primary reason why we're unable to get flights, as well as some weakness that we're expecting in the stock market in the United States that is showing itself already. So the latest number I got for the trust fund, the balance stood at 312 million. And we expect that there might be additional fluctuation over the course of the year, but that's to be expected. We're not going to withdraw all of our money this year. It'll just affect the investment value, and when the market goes back up, we can see some recovery in the numbers. So yes, that's a long answer to your question, but that's a situation we're looking at now.
Ya kan sulang. Osisyon mo digital residency. And I've been asked this question. Di ako nang answer ng bakas ka mul. The question that comes to me was say, can we start issuing digital IDs, residency IDs, without the full regulation in place for us to implement this program?
Yes, we incorporated a lot of the thinking behind the regulations into the operating agreement. That's a requirement for our vendor, our partner, to follow. Our regulations that we are working on now, and we have an initial draft already prepared, will incorporate a lot of those requirements. So you can say that we have the legislation, we have the operating agreement, the regulations will sit in between those two. So we're already ahead of the game in having issued the contract, but the regulations will support that contract and maybe expand on it a little bit for that vendor and for other products that we decide to launch under this program.
Can that operating agreement be made available for review?
We can give you the gist of what's in the agreement. It's basically a standard contract on the requirements that these people have to provide to us, like having a bank account and having it being audited by us. Those kind of protections are in the standard contract. I will check on whether or not we want to release all of it in its existing form, in case there's any issues that our partner may have with the information being released. But generally, like I said, the issues that we want to cover in the regulations are represented in the contract. So let me get back to you on that question, Campes.
Something that I think we should be aware of is in this space, whether it's digital ID, we have competition. The world is the competition. So there's certain things we don't want to share with the rest of the world because we don't want them to get our idea and then copy it, right? So that's why I think questions and maybe you can review, but you know, we don't want it posted on Facebook. This is what the agreement is, right? There's nothing that I don't think we can't share, we could talk about, but yeah.
Kaya mara either Mr. Abiyang man o Mr. Victor ang di mo tigil adal mo omral ko amla mo lang rita retela at saka a clock crystal mo airport amla tribal mo asel ito ka di tribal rita at saka lola odoy mo durok mayan ko na di siya di ko qualify sa prostitution mo wala bakal mo airport altemela ako bid mayan.
Saudara agere to my understanding wala dirika ka mongod self process alwasing alsum kumor omrale wala ba ngigel pela chicks ya kadimor airport nga ngigel officer ng arsel
ngarinya
rura permit
several other ko sa ta chika clock pero gui ta kadil kasi to tangi ko ka komesa clock pero gui wala para airport mayam ta ko kasi sa procedure airport tadang procedure kami.
self ti inspecta ngigel sa procedure bureau of fisheries ang tumlon mo inspector ugul guler even though tawasang ngari onral le tangarinya romarta rapruk lama oli ma balo la lang malo to da balur belam tumlo stat talwasing kadama inspector sumong guler ang grill inspectoring sumun dia guler se dia kagim inspectoring lan dia kangal alam inspecta ko klokira our passengers mo sige dia ko in the future we might be changing the process but process malmol al time how it has been.
Minister Victoria, the verification. Sorry. I could be wrong. Hindi kallalpas na naman sa ethanol to da ay dil seafood na blue bello.
Allah ngari al time di ban export any reef organism.
Any
This
reef?
umong pelagic species. Ang ngigara ikrel almol lang sabel.
Okay, ito tanglan nga la alwasang naman sa ethanol to da lol durok la kalir ngaliket ang ngigal maray kel bello.
Sabel ngigel ending katsuo ma
Okay. Hindi
skipja
reef.
ma
Not
yellowfin
reef
ma
fishes. Okay.
gidila kalwa amang ma andu
Ramrum mga rangya.
ya ma berde ma karamlal ma igadal sabel.
Okay. So that's probably jadi pala para questioner sa liga sa to human trafficking Vice President patersel direct report Blura Marigela sing malmi tuta ay kaluud ma punishment tergidel gidela tergel adal mudemara human trafficking malubang related type of crimes aklam sagay nagigidel guys nyam lamot na to the adjustment tergi yang wal ko maklo a discretion ra hortal sa in one of the cases wal el dil 6 months adal ngara kalpus pe fine and then that's it ngara follow up sel di kale question rang kale kambes ngara ko process al malubang uldas wal mo makatmok lay kay kita dire ko say ngora wal sal maklo KCL US Department of State al dictate to say what Palau should be doing lakalwi da Philippines at tier 2 kita ngara tier 2 watch list again ngara ko alda da miulo bang kala blura mrigel say
Malmasa Pakumur sige dal aldo lo bangkela baluram rigel. Masige sel meeting al preference ringil gim limit ang kamang kale Minister Matul ma Minister ay taro matrigel nga al sel tagi dal working group Attorney General al milingat odo lo bangkel Ambassador Hennessy Island dal kora wagim kora mo ngila clothing mamal wasay makarabol si edal improve tagi dal standing rigid. Mga discussions ay malat kalwa si tegi the submission recently sira Monday malmo address ay like it. So malmasal Attorney General lang nga get proposed amendments al morala almo mo durok kalmo mera presidente ko nga mo odurok clean mo ay kagi din olbira kalulaw. One of the recommended change rala awase bola ka ngirel impose jail sentence. Ang kagi dale judge al sila igal case, hindi ka dil fine impose a jail sentence. Di tagi da dira kaltara ko related issue. Tial jailer git currently, adi kalsa al ilmal house or trial dom kadong or tirik mulwa say white collar criminals. Blow oil ko digel crimes al ngiya of immediate injury, merang adal harm to oneself or ang mora a community. Mungkora igel violent crimes sa kor ore drol turtira al seltial kor jail. Magilu ay sa report rigid lo say Mr. President tercera teme la sora almle happen ra 2021 in April. Amla o tia commitment ringil mo o finisher cell facility cell jail rigid for humanitarian purposes ay mo sa el complete ringi. So once el bol ngil sa gid facility gid mo sa bedrol sis war adal ra al sel sa gid galbus le as you aware I'm learning about twice Palau Supreme Court has said that was a tel current jail facility gid di almita international standards. Magigid ay galuriol dong at mokal gidel sa gid. Did I cover all your concerns of gidel sel o I'm learning additional? But thank you, ang gagi da Chief of Staff Office Vice Presidential email legal ligagi dale tia report tale ko kami ang pala Media Council RLA. Thank you so much.
Last question, well, not last, maybe I'll have other questions later. Mr. President, ngayon selbe sa laal de ka blame sign ngayon sel RPPL 11-16 or 17, one of those two. Sel mo create Palau Palau National Hospital Authority or Palau National Hospital Authority. Ngaringisal ko concern and lalo raise sa ringil ba say constitution na kita require ano bang mandate lo say guru lagi del subsidized malubeng free moral other Palau. Hindi sel ko mokta tayo del besala say make sure la say hospital run and sufficiently real cost recovery. Mangara ko ra sa ML ko ra o tell the swimmer gidel say and how do they work together?
Ako mro sa selda sa hospital cost recovery. Adi kan kitel toy. Lengi adal mo ngali tel true cost operation. Sa adi kal stobor government rigid el subsidize sel cost recovery. Hindi help rigid tara sel contribute todo del money government. So el alta me gido todo 10 million and run igal operations at hospital. Umara sa sa kada stobering. Hindi kada mo operating efficiently, provide better service, that's the goal. And subsidize ni da di ba di ka salung example a PPUC. El alta me gida subsidize ara la dengi. Gida mo malas mo masada la yegi de bay klo adungul masa aw guru. That's well what's mandated in the constitution by PUC the constitution. So akmal ko ngira bangim I think they can work in hand in hand. Deka
Only one last question regarding that. What would make that more efficient? The Telnganyabor, the rental system, which is answer directly to you, the current system.
Kita tingin lo si management organization runs a little more efficiently if there's incentives, there's better ways to improve our system, holding people more accountable. Government system sometimes is not so effective in that regards. Direct also the promoter idea so maybe later on for example, a doctor should be paid on a fee basis. You see customers, patients, you pay them, and there's nothing wrong with us subsidizing that, but there needs to be a way I'll help her to blood Subi, that's the model most developed countries follow. They operate on that system. So I think we need to look at those models, but still provide the service in the most efficient and effective way possible. Kita sel ultimate sel mal mokte kargit, asing makara mongila care and moral okya. Tadam makara mo respondel mre. Dakat sokan artia blame Ministry of Finance. Apart and we all work together as a team, but sometimes hindi slow down our process al sung important telgar los peri. Hindi slow down our process ade do bodo sigir appropriation and take caring. They need to have the flexibility lo ase. Agios pa analysis machine lang. We don't need to pass a special resolution and motor finance and motor sell procurement process. We need them. Minister, administrator, you have a board, do it. So, ako maralo say sell goal lagi do say life for other important. We want to provide the best service and marab. Through this process, hopefully say they'll improve. So,
Mr. President, if I may also chime in, from the ministry side, kadamla start improve Aigal Community Health Center, and hopefully in the next coming years, since manyar wala pa mga rakel mga tmok lagi gid primary and preventive care services. So direct kung dasem lemok tertial el bilara senet tawal decentralize sa gid guk tokoera prevention ma primary care man sa edlo mer ringin mo ablu. So instead ra adan ngara ababala makalan mel di mera opidil memelara Tylenol and sa building ngara igel ko medel community health center may gigi del basic services hindi kalbel pero hospital sige da direct ko ra long term lo sige da lo sem makarada dolisi ra ko to era health protection ma health promotion ra gal ka carousel state mong mobile tergi da decentralized gigi del el services lungwa a service in more other blue instead ra di ngatiang mangira ra adal men so sige da direct ko mo impact that gigi del set up maliak ra hospital Ministry of Health and most other focus ra health policy ma public health.
Vice President.
Kami remember sel partra question kalya Philippines. Okay, so sige del ratial anti-human trafficking report. Ang ngila rating at term sa ko ka rerela US State Department. But this is why ang gira dal comply. Ang abto ka adrabula sa mo rabal kul mata letiang omes rabla ka dali tan more workers sergit especially tigel employers sa ko fall under a minister mato sila ka dungil harara adra hui riping al tira oriol lo bengir laka it's it's like slavery tiat osisum sige anti slavery ma President Amal Masam Narula proclamation or either el almandra February ang gira dal el oriol gira awareness sa sige. So, aldum ang gida dal kargik, ledi kadrep tal mora tier 3. Aldum tal gida dal web. Ay gel nges wal dollar, for example, la ADB. Amrigel amalus umortilo sila kamaltob dalonan morbela tier la magkita rating at tier tel anti-human trafficking. Model si Edrola bakar dari gida lo rurte malaklalo Amazon. Leng matamang adu mal masisi amrigel mamod adu mora abang galwa sila kamo that's the penalty. Say give ya atomalit. langam kaya til amal run financial transactions arti maldumang malgira dal blakar ngudul waya do ngat mo katya reporter gid mal sabi dal malumol malagida depender tel marigel ma US dollars al those pe mangira dal ngat mo klay gid yel at talang tingila labor trafficking al gira dal mo al make sure hindi kal happen rabal wada ma sex trafficking sulang
Maldi quick question mara minister matul. Say the loss of income program. Di lo aseng gire la adal mo to ba paset COVID test ya. Tirigel guk dimnal COVID positive nding temle quarantine because en temle close contact. Tirigel ndakal eligible tel program.
Tirgay gid mat eligible but tirgay parents al school mle affected aklangar ka mle close sa school gid man ngarap lim. Mang akul ngit mamem the three segil situation rakaw. Kas kum ka qualify malaranges wag yung usukaw.
Sulang.
Dio. Alam mo da ka question ga dokra misra Mr. Talam sila kang artela mong gidra tuto ma Bernadette hindi agada mereng asulul media blo lo bang gede kabe sa diwan last la kame tra mereng se te belara last week amna front page sa singana ka maraklay dokra mal degim ga yureng sa makki iso lo ay sila se selva bilinga oblem print rin dice 1 week old Sera January 20 era rugul bela milu silmera hir ma as a response nga kamal ko to bet sel meeting di tier mar expert sa mga okle ya do o gera rugul question ma segi del sil sera Friday January 21 gim lot mage obantrir Medrerul sigang. Maiger rogul karira rogul bela mamle concern tit amle address tersel meeting. Mang Padayon lasing ungil kada print babiling rogul bela di abaviral amle officer president ma president amle respond di will on print di nga labol arung la story ma next time edim mo ay ser gid lo say mo print and we can always share with you dire kaltel namre kal Friday mo tire kamna ya tele del ukmitra governors ro dire kam stria te ala matmitra trigal experts legida agar ugul do ngatmok ligire la ministry of health matial addressing a COVID amra lultuir are experts na maskida otherwise sometimes we don't all agree hindi sel don't get niya se meda dak lo tia awil lomru mura other belaw mela ka bangara mo do se ngal ka COVID ngirel se ngirel male te ngirel mo da lo udigel lagi kita nama lagi change nama lagi kita wise ul daswet ngabulang lagi kita no COVID ngadire lagi kita lomur ngadire ngaria let's help them so ako na yung lase kita sila ngaria awal del COVID minister en so di group singing ngal it's here we have to learn to live with it we have to be tolerant and we have to work together to get through this so yung na sokal share sa kita sulang ambes madal ngari kam nari akadim malwaise kita bekal el time do press conference and direct show mo acknowledge tigel el loader public servant no loader abekal sales lo no ser kita rawuret agumeseng Maria team el border tirel al sales ngari Lelen Louis ngara Ministry of Justice Vice President happy birthday Rosella Toichi ngara Ministry of Education adiregal Olwal Damay ngara Mafe adiregal Fabian ngara MOF ma Aikman Byron ngara MPII o Mr. Minister se wish them a happy birthday do nga ang will sil tir tialuk togobet sil tir ma tigar rogul el tira mashura blur bera rabek sil regal namu regal el erul sande Emile birthday ti, let's wish them a happy birthday. Kita almutan mo kaswes, 2 weeks from now. Oman misulang, ya Dios el olmol mo mga tangat terbelaw, mga other belaw ro ko oman misulang.